What's up, guys? Hotjar Frontier back at it again with another video. And in this video, guys, we're going to be doing a Starlight Rare Market versus the Quarter Century Rare Market comparison. And of course, just so we don't go into a tangent, I have some categories. We have the highs, the lows, staple cards, meta cards, and finally, rarity, one of the most important ones. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is the highs. Starting off with the Starlight Rare Market, we have Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess, as the highest Starlight Rare in history for Yu-Gi-Oh!, following IP Masquerena. Then, of course, we have Wynn, the Wind Charmer. So, of course, two out of the three I just mentioned are from Rising Rampage, the first Starlight Rare set, of course. And Apollousa is very iconic in terms of a boss monster. Then we have Chaos Impact for IP Masquerena, a really good set as well. Moving on to the Quarter Century Rare side, we have the Bystial Lubellion, we have Magicians of Bonds and Unity, and we have Revolution Synchron. So of course, Core Century Rares are just going to be a year. That's my guess. I don't think Konami is going to go past that because it's the 25th anniversary. It's not the 25th and 26th. But looking from these three, two of them are meta cards, so it's kind of like a little iffy if they're going to stay at the top. In my opinion, I think towards the end, Magicians of Bonds and Unity would be the highest Quarter Century Rare out of all of them. And there are a lot of them as well. But if you go down, there are a lot of great, really good Quarter Century Rare cards. A lot of them are meta related though, so you have to really remember that as well. Now we go back onto the first page for the Starlight Rare side. We have a lot of them that are not only just meta cards, but they're also, a lot of them are nostalgic cards, staple cards. We'll get into those categories as well. But just so you guys can see the prices, yeah, like the lowest price for a Starlight Rare, Ghosts of Bell and Haunted Mansion, is highest than the highest Quarter Century Rare card, which is kind of crazy when you really think about it. But this is a new rarity and it kind of will take time for it to develop. Now moving on to the lows, if we look at the lows in terms of Starlight Rares, and we just hit the low to high here, you're going to see that the lowest Starlight Rare is actually the number 17 Leviathan Dragon Astral Rare, which I feel like that's a whole different rarity, but that's a whole other video. But yeah, you can kind of see the reasons why certain cards here are low. Either they're meta cards or they just didn't have a high impact once they hit our meta. But yeah, none of them are in terms bad cards. It's just that they're more specific to a certain archetype or a certain gimmick, really, right? But if we look at the lowest Quarter Century Rares, you have a lot more similar pricing. Of course, we have the first ones that came out from the Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition, but those to me look really nice. It's easier to get, of course, you get one per box, but moving on, we get to more specific things like Tutelar Knights. So Tutelar Knights did really good, then this would be higher, you know what I mean? And same thing with, of course, you got the X-Tox Hydra. It's so specific to reptiles, just not many people are playing reptiles. But as you go on, you're going to see a lot more specific archetypes, something that's more of a free agent type of thing. This is getting more support in the next set, so this could go up, of course. And of course, we have the Cosmic Quasar Dragon, that is the face of the set, Duelist Nexus. So I can see definitely that card will go up in price. But yeah, that is the lows. You can see the huge difference, right? Same thing. Lowest is $427, and the lowest here is $35-36. So there that is. But moving on to the next one, and of course, guys, that is staples. So if we look at the highest again, because we see a lot of staples, IP Masquerade is not a staple, but Effect Veiler is a staple. And if you get one in this rarity, I know it's a lot of money, of course, but over time you're going to try to go ahead and grab that playset, right? It just looks clean. that's just how it is. That's my I think, at least. But luckily I'm not trying to collect Effect Veiler Starlight Rare. Now moving on, we have Triple Tactic Talent. That is a staple. If you have one, again, same kind of philosophy, right? Pot of Prosperity is really nice. Now they get hit on the ban list, of course, that will affect the pricing. But going down, we have DD Crow, really good staple, from older formats as well. We have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, somewhat of a good staple, not a bad staple. Ghostbound Haunted Mansion. So a lot of good staple cards in terms of Starlight Rares. I can go down the list, of course, but let's just move on to the Quarter Century Rares. You guys already know a lot of the staples for Starlight Rares. There's a lot of them. We're missing Ash Blossom too, which I don't know when they're going to throw it in, but that's just a whole other video. So going on to the Quarter Century side, you don't have many staples. Again, we're not counting IP. And Dark Hole, depending on the person, it's a staple, but as a main meta staple, it's not. It's definitely not. Now going down, we have, of course, super polymerization. I think that's definitely a staple, unless it doesn't get hit by the balance, of course, but historically, all copies of super polymerization do really well in the market, so I wouldn't see why this wouldn't go up in price later on. Now, Terraform to me is actually one of the best looking like quarter century rares. It looks really nice. You only need the one. It's limited to one, of course. And I will go to the second list just to see if there's anything else we can kind of spot, but nothing much. Again, a free card until Age of Overlord comes out, but not a bad card, but not a like main core like staple, if you guys know what I mean. But that's pretty much it in terms of that. So moving on to our fourth category, and that is meta cards. So going straight to the front again, you don't really see many meta cards, and I mean like meta cards in like for a certain deck. Like this deck can run it, you know, it's for this deck basically. Now of course there are cards like Appaloosa that every deck can play, but I'm talking about something like Salamangreat Almiraj. You don't use that for Salamangreats, you know what I mean? Something like that. So if we kind of look down here, you'll see that there's not too many cards. I mean, of course you have Dogmatica Ecclesia, but that's more of like a free agent type of card than any deck. At the time, you just kind of splash that in. And just looking towards the end, you see Blazing Cartesia, the Virtuous, and of course a lot of them are tied to the meta because of course Branded is a deck, and you know people love, especially for Branded, to have maxed rarity Branded stuff. All right, shout out to Blue Eyes Gaming 3. I'm trying to commit to the max rarity out everything, but yeah, it's crazy how many cards are tied to the meta in terms of high rarity. Now, if we go on the quarter century side, right, you're gonna see something very interesting, and I'm gonna show you guys the front page, of course, because that's the one that has the highest. You have Lubellion as the highest out of all the quarter century rare cards, just because of how it is, you know, in the meta, very splashable, Dragon Link, of course, but it's also because, you know, it's probably one of the best looking ones right now for Monstrous Revenge, and I feel like over time, like I said, Magicians of Bonds and Unity will definitely overtake it, and that will be the highest because if you guys don't know, Magicians of Bonds and Unity is going to be getting different colored cards throughout the other sets. So honestly, I will say over time, you'll really see the distinction between quarter century rares that are just, you know, like free for everyone in terms of meta ones. Meta ones will definitely go down over time. So like Revolution Synchron, definitely like it's very tied to like how good synchros do or how well you're gonna splash into your deck. Yeah, it's just crazy how the meta affects certain rarities too. You know, it's not even about even if the highest rarity, it will go down depending on how people are paying it less. But going on to our final category, and that is rarity. Now, people say that the quarter century rare looks very similar to the Starlight rare, and honestly, I understand why people say that, and that's why people have been panic selling certain cards. Like if we look at Stardust Dragon, it has been a journey with this card because a few months back, this card was a very high, pretty much 800. I've seen ones for like 850, 900, but then it slowly started dipping. The reason being is because this card, especially with many other cards, are actually getting a reprint in the tins as a quarter century rare, and it's basically a raffle, like whichever one you get once you get your tin. So it's not even like a low chance to pull it in the packs. It's just here's a quarter century rare. So a lot of cards have been going down, but in my opinion, I feel like you should kind of buy into these downs. Especially if you don't have this and you really wanted it, this is the best time to get it, because over time you'll tell the difference that these are two different rarities. You know, this one has more of a shine all over. The quarter century rare has a kind of like grid box type of like rarity all over its card text. But yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like over time you will see the differences. It looks different or similar now, I guess, just because how, you know, you might have a Starlight rare that's also quarter century rare, but really give it time. You'll see the players will make that distinction that they are different. Now, we talked about a lot of things for this market watch, or this type of like, you know, Starlight rare versus quarter century rare discussion, really. So I just kind of want to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below, what do you guys feel about finally the Starlight rare versus the quarter century rare market? I am very curious to see what you think. But guys, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a huge like, comment down below your thoughts on this topic. And guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you're updated the moment I upload new videos. But guys, that's it for me. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.